International Day of Peace was established by the United Nations in 1981. It was established by UN documents to be a day of global ceasefire and nonviolence. It's an invitation to pause in the conflict and violence of our world, and to reflect on the things that make for peace, and to seek a path toward peace that's other than a means of violence. The vision of Hesston College is to be a transforming community that follows the way of Jesus, seeking to build a future where peace replaces war and conflict, where justice replaces oppression, and where creation is renewed. Being a transforming community is an understanding that peace is so much more than just the absence of violence. It's the presence of something mysterious and greater that doesn't eliminate our differences, but it embraces our differences and our conflicts as gifts that allow us to accomplish things, to understand things, discover things that we never would have been able to do without those differences. Unlike Hiroshima, the historic act of violence that took place there, the Serbian atrocities in Kosovo have not been widely reported or broadcast. But for those who experienced the violence, it is no less traumatic. I remember hearing about the violent conflict in Kosovo in the 90s and some political wrestlings within the U.S. about whether they should intervene or not. But I actually knew very little about it, so I did a little research on the World Fact Book, which is part of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency website. And this is what I learned. The conflict between Serbia and the conflict within Kosovo itself. Kosovo has a long history of occupation by a variety of empires who fought one another to gain control of that territory. Kosovo had some degree of autonomy when it was within the boundaries of Yugoslavia. But as the government of Yugoslavia began to break up, Serbia claimed ownership of Kosovo. But the majority of people in Kosovo rebelled against that Serbian claim in their search for independence. The response of Serbia in 1998, a little more than 20 years ago, Serbia responded by conducting a brutal campaign that resulted in massacres of thousands of people and mass expulsions from Kosovo. Some 800,000 people were forced to leave their homes in Kosovo and flee to neighboring countries. Untold others were massacred and buried in mass graves. The United Nations and NATO allies finally intervened to stop the violence. And after investigations as to what had taken place, Serbian dictator Slobodan Milosevic was arrested and charged with a long list of war crimes. Milosevic died in custody before the trial could take place, and all the incidents and charges that were brought against him could fully be brought to light. Today we will hear the story of one family of a current Hesston College student, for Tesa Hysenaj, and we'll reflect on this through music and through the hearing of Scripture. May God's Spirit of grace and peace guide our reflections, leading us to a deeper understanding of the evil of violence and knowing actively how to live the way of healing and peace, a peace that's more than the absence of conflict, but the presence of a spirit of peace that unites humanity with one another and with all of creation. We are very pleased to have for Tesa Hysenaj here with us, and as a part of Hesston College. She is a freshman this year at Hesston College from Kosovo. We are here to hear a little bit of your story, for Tesa, about your family's experience within the Serbian-Kosovo conflict. But first of all, tell me just a little bit about Kosovo, the landscape and the people, and what you remember growing up there.
Kosovo is in Europe, is located in Europe, while it's bordered by Serbia to the north and east, North Macedonia to the south, Albania to the west, and Montenegro to the northwest. High school, middle school has been one of my favorite parts growing up there. While I came here, it's just like I miss my country, but I'm really proud with the people and with my country, well, what they did until now.
Is Kosovo highly populated, lots of people, or is it more rural? There are a lot of mountains, or is it flat like Kansas is?
Well, when I live in my town, it's like I have a beautiful view. When I wake up in the morning in my window, it's just like the mountains.
I don't remember a lot. I didn't hear a lot of the stories of the conflict between Serbia and Kosovo in the 1990s. I kind of knew it was happening, but I didn't know a lot of details. But for many of us, it's history, it's from another place. But your family lived the reality. Tell us a little bit about what your family's story was in that reality.
This is my dad's and mom's story. They were supposed to marry on August. The war started in 1998 in February, while in my mom's town started earlier than my dad's town.
How far apart were the towns?
It's just like 2 hours.
Okay.
Between them, 2 hours driving. My mom went to her uncle's. It was a great place to hide there. While to my dad's, they just stayed there in their homes. On my mom's town, when she went to her uncle's, it was a great place to hide. And then she decided to get married without a wedding and without anything. She walked to the mountains, and when they fled their houses, she went in the night without any lights or anything, because if the Serbian police or militaries are gonna see them, they are gonna just kill them. And so my mom and dad got married in the middle of the war. It was cold. All the night spent there. She said that she was all the night woke up. In the morning, she started walking. And then my dad's uncle got in a place when she go and get her. When my mom got to my dad's house, she was really surprised, and she was like, here it's not like any war and those kind of stuff. And she was okay with that. She didn't see her family for 6 months. She didn't hear anything for her family. After 6 months, my dad's town started the war. In the first week, they went to the mountains. And after the first week, they said that the war is end, so you can go back again. So while they were going to the mountains, and after that coming back to the houses, it was like some people going to the mountains and said, where are you going? And they said that the war is end, so we are gonna go back to our houses. And they said, no, that's not right. It's getting worse and worse. And so they decided to separate. My mom and dad separated there. They decided that all the men to go to the mountains and all the women to go back, because they thought that they are not gonna do anything to the women. While two of my dad's uncle, they went with the women. They stayed for 3 nights in a house all together with all the children. After 2 nights, it was in the afternoon at 4 p.m. when the police came and said, you have just like 5 minutes to leave your house or we are gonna kill all of you. So my mom, she said that all of them get in a tractor and started to go to the Albanian. The first stop was just like 5 minutes far away from my house, when all of them said that we are gonna kill all of you. But fortunately, it was a Serbian friend that lived close to our house, and he said that to the Serbian police, if you kill them, you're gonna kill me too. They were arguing a lot between them, and so they decided that they are not gonna kill them. After 5 minutes, when they were driving, it was like their gas, it was empty. What should we do, they said. And then the other Serbian friend came and said, what happened? And they just like helped them. After, in the second block, when they stopped them, it was in a school, while it was 500 people staying in that school. They stayed for 2 weeks. And my mom said it was many, many times that we went in front of the school trying there to kill us. Going inside, it was just like she was just terrified. After 2 weeks, they said that if you want to live, if you want us to live, you have to go to Albania and just like leave Kosovo. It wasn't any option. So they left while my mom was pregnant. They left for Albania and they stayed there. They didn't know, like for my dad and my mom, they didn't know anything about us.
Because they couldn't communicate
No.
with each other during this time.
And so I asked my mom, what did you do? And she said, I was scared, I was worried, I was everything. But she said that I was just praying. And I said that I'm not alone. God is with us. And so they went to Albania. They stayed like refugees in Leja. While my grandpa, he was in Germany living there. And so my uncle, when my dad was living, he went to the mountains and he said that we lost in the roads many, many times. So they went in a place in Albania and they went in a cafe to drink something. And they hear somebody that said, all like Beksali family died. And so my dad, he was just like, I'm done with this. I don't know what should I do. My grandpa called my uncle's dad that was with the women and said that we are in this place. Could you please call them and tell them we are in this place? My grandpa called my dad and said that they are in this place. So they start walking and driving, going to that place. One day before like my dad arrived, my mom, my older brother came out. And so after that, my mom, after 2 days, 2.5 days or 3, they left Albania and they said that the war is end. So they went back home. My mom, she said that they were ready to go to a new house because like when they got married, they wanted to go to a new house. In that new house, all was burned. So they went, it was just like a room. All the things in Kosovo was just destroyed.
So growing up with these stories, how did that shape your understanding and your feelings?
I heard such like many, many stories that hurt my heart a lot. Serbian police raped some girls in front of her mom. And after that they killed them. Her mom is still alive. She is not really good with mental health. I really feel very bad for her. Growing up, so many like children in my age, they grew up and saying that we hate Serbia. It's not that. Like my mom and dad always used to say that, well, when the first block, then we were, why the Serbian friend helped us? So in Serbia, in Kosovo, we have good people. But like, sometimes we know that we have some people that don't have feelings. In everywhere, in this world, we have people that don't have feelings. Not just in Serbia and Kosovo. But we should try to love people.
You know, one of the things that intrigues me about your story is that part of what helped your mother survive were Serbians who did have feelings, to use your words. who were concerned about and compassionate toward people. So there were those persons in the story as well.
Yeah. As I said, I grew up in a family that they always sit us with us and talk about how we should love people. We try to talk with the other people and say that we should have a connection. We should talk about this. My dad and mom used to say always that we don't have bad people, but we have people that don't have feelings. Because we know that we are not perfect. We are not perfect, and so we should just like try to love people. If we have a conflict, please just sit and talk. It's not like the first thing just to fight each other.
What does peace look like in Kosovo today?
With every person, if you talk in Kosovo, they are just gonna say, this and this happened. I know it's such a bad story to have in your heart. They try, I should say that they try really hard to keep their self really strong, even though sometimes it's really hard. It's really hard. Peace, it's hard for them. I should say that people in Kosovo try really good to have a connection with the other countries. While I would say with Serbia too, some of the people, they try really good, even though sometimes for us it's really hard. Just like to remember those kind of stories. And people, it's hard. I don't know, it's really hard.
What is your hope for Kosovo for the future?
I wish that Kosovo, and I hope that Kosovo will have not a really good connection, but just like to have a connection with Serbia. Because I'm for sure that my grandparents, my parents, my aunts and uncles, they don't want that the new generation to have the same situation as they had. So I really hope that in the future, not just Kosovo and Serbia, but all the countries in the world, just to have like a connection. And if they have like an conversation or something, just to sit down and talk about that, and not just like going to the violent, to the war, because it's not how God said.
Thank you, Tesa, for sharing your story with us. It is a powerful story and meaningful. And I'm so impressed by your parents moving beyond their own trauma of the violence, calling us to be in relationship with each other and to work out our conflicts in peaceful ways. I think that's what the United Nations hoped for with the International Day of Peace, is to take a moment to set aside the violence of the world and recognize there's another way. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you for living that reality by coming here to Hesston College as a citizen of Kosovo and allowing us to get to know you and your story and opening yourself to the stories of all the other people from around the world who are here at Hesston College. That's living the vision that your parents have raised you with. And I celebrate that, and thank you for bringing that to Hesston College.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled.
Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God.
Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
If we can see each other's light,
dream with me of how this world could be if our love was without walls and boundaries. Then we would know no enemy or foe, and the seeds of peace could root and start to grow. If we could as one decide to lay down our arms and pride, then our children would not sorrow, there'd be joy for their tomorrow. If we can see each other's light, then we can be each other's light, and all the war and hate will disappear. If we can both see eye to eye, raise our hearts and voices to the sky, then we'll find beauty so clear and love without fear. If we can see each other's light.
we fight to protect our land.
But we don't understand
that we must walk hand in hand.
in unity we can
Plant a garden of peace, a garden of hope, a garden where everyone will know that there is light in every living thing. So let us see each other's light, so we can be each other's light. Then all the war and hate will disappear. When we both see eye to eye, raise our hearts and voices to the sky, we will find beauty so clear, love without fear.
we'll find beauty so clear and
Love without fear. When we see each other's light,